Hi there. Some of you have been asking questions about carbon, so we wanted to give you a brief video to basically talk through some of these things about carbon. One of your first questions is, what is total carbon? Well, total carbon is the organic carbon and the inorganic carbon that we find in our soils. The inorganic carbon is basically the carbonates. And when we look at a soil and it maybe has high carbonates, we try to remove those using acids, because what we're interested in is the organic stuff. Now this exists as our soil organic matter, and what that is basically former plants, bits of animals, all that dead stuff that's turning over in our soils, and also the life that's in our soils at the moment. But it's really hard to measure soil organic matter. So what we generally do is we measure soil organic carbon. Now, soil organic carbon is only about 40% of the soil organic matter. So we use an estimation or an approximation of our soil organic matter based on the soil organic carbon measurements. Soil organic carbon is important because it's the food that basically feeds the biology that drives the nutrient cycles which we rely on to grow our plants. It also acts as a type of glue, helping to stick the mineral component of our soils together, and in doing so it gives us structure, and that structure allows better aeration and also can help mitigate some of the effects of erosion events. And I guess finally, soil organic carbon becomes important because it's something we hear a lot about in relation to our fight or struggle against climate change. Our ability to put more carbon into our soils is often something we're encouraged to do. And this is why we might want to look at our soil organic carbon. But in our soils, that soil organic carbon can exist in two other forms. The labile form, which is what's feeding that biology and driving those nutrient cycles, and a recalcitrant form, which is nearer to the inorganic often, but is more like humic substances, or what we call minerally occluded carbon. And that's the type of carbon that is more stable and is likely to persist in our environment for longer. So our soil organic carbon is really important to help us with a number of things that we rely on in our farming system. That said, suppose you did want to try and farm carbon or look for carbon credits. Yes, you'll need to know what your soil organic carbon is. So when we send our soils off to the lab to measure our soil organic carbon, it's generally measured in one of two main ways. The first way is using Walkley Black, which is a wet chemistry measure. The second method is using a loss on ignition, and that's often done in a machine like this behind me, a LECO, where the carbon is basically burned out of the soil and it's measured. So this is how it's done, and these are the results you get back from those lab analyses. Now, what that tells you is how much carbon you have in a gram or in a kilogram of soil. I feel like it's giving you a percentage of carbon in your sample. And that's fine, but as many of us will know, when we actually think about a field, the density of our soils in those fields is much higher than a gram per centimeter cubed or a ton per meter cubed. It's bigger than that. So what we need to know is the bulk density of our soils. We can then multiply that concentration of carbon in our soils by the bulk density in our soils, and that gives us our soil organic carbon stock. And that's what we're interested in when we're looking at carbon trading. So there you go. Whether you're interested in carbon trading or not, soil organic carbon is definitely something you want to have in your system. It's something you maybe want to measure and monitor in your farming systems, because just having it will help with your soil biology, it will help with your soil structure, and you never know, it just might make you a few extra pennies on the side. That's soil organic carbon.